Okay, so when you think made in Italy, what comes to mind for you? Is it maybe that sun-drenched Tuscan leather workshop?
Yeah.
Generations of artisans, carefully crafting something beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. Or maybe the feel of silk, or that amazing design of a perfect suit. It's this really romantic idea for most of us, isn't it? A kind of promise, quality, heritage, built up over, well, centuries.
But what if that label, that whole idea we admire, isn't quite the full story? What if, like one of our sources asks, made in Italy is actually a beautiful lie?
A beautiful lie. That's provocative.
It is. And today, that's what we're diving into. We want to unravel what's really behind that label. We're looking at some powerful sources, digging into excerpts from the frayed threads of Made in Italy, trying to pull out the key facts, maybe some surprising ones, basically give you a shortcut to understanding the complex reality of this huge global brand.
And right at the heart of it, really setting the stage, is this legal loophole. It's quite something. Our sources are really clear. Italian law actually lets you label something made in Italy, even if, and this is a direct quote, just the final button is sewn on here.
Just the final button, seriously.
Yeah. Think about what that means. The fabric could be from China. The labor, potentially exploited workers. It creates this huge gap between what you think you're buying and what's actually happening. The source puts it bluntly. Italy sold its honey to Asia years ago.
Sold its honey?
Meaning, the core of its manufacturing, its know-how, the soul of its production, really. It's been shifting away.
Wow. Okay, sold its honey. That really paints a picture. So with that loophole kind of hanging there, do the sources give us any real-world examples, stuff that shows the impact of this beautiful lie?
Oh, absolutely. And a really stark one is the case of Loro Piana. You know them, right? For ages, they were the absolute peak of quiet luxury.
Right, those incredibly soft cashmere coats. The ones that cost, $7,000 or something?
Exactly. Whisper soft, feels like a breeze, costs a fortune. That's the image. Pure luxury.
Okay, so what happened?
Well, here's the shocker. The sources say Loro Piana was put under judicial administration recently.
Judicial administration, why?
Because their subcontractors, the people actually making the stuff, were found using undocumented Chinese workers. And the conditions, they were apparently sleeping in illegal dorms inside the factory.
Inside the factories. Good grief.
Yeah, and working crazy hours, 90-hour winks for under $5 an hour.
80 hours. For less than $5 an hour,
It's grim, and the source's conclusion, it hits hard. Made in Italy now means made in misery.
Made in misery. Wow, that's really disturbing, especially linked to a luxury brand. Yeah. And you mentioned earlier, this isn't just one company, right? The sources say it's broader.
Exactly. It's not presented as a one-off. It's painted as more of a systemic thing. They point to scrutiny around Armani, Dior, Valentino supply chains, too. Similar kinds of issues.
So it's a pattern.
Seems like it. The sources talk about this intense pressure on these huge luxury houses to compete with Zara.
Compete with Zara. But that's fast fashion. It's the total opposite of luxury.
Precisely. And the source makes that exact point. Luxury is not supposed to be fast. It's supposed to be timeless. When you try and rush something that's meant to be timeless, well, corners get cut. That's often where the exploitation creeps in.
It really makes you question the whole model, doesn't it?
It does. Can true luxury even survive in this kind of fast fashion world?
And speaking of speed, the sources bring up what they call the real destroyers. They mean Shein and Temu, calling them digital dumping grounds flooding Europe with disposable fashion. And get this, made in conditions apparently even worse than the ones we just talked about in luxury.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine worse, but that's the claim. These platforms really embody what the source calls landfill couture.
Landfill couture. Ooh.
It's not just cheap clothes. It's this relentless cycle. Buy it, wear it once, toss it. Totally unsustainable. That's why the source is calling for Europe to step up. They're demanding taxes, tariffs, and bans to try and stem this tide of, disposable stuff.
It feels like this problem, this sort of erosion of made in Italy, goes way beyond just clothes, though. The source claims Italy has been selling its soul. Are there other examples? Outside fashion.
Definitely. Take Ifai, iconic Italian brand, right?
Sure.
Well, the source points out it's now often made in Poland.
Huh, okay.
Or think about Gucci eyewear. You assume Italy, maybe because Luxottica owns them.
Yeah, you probably would.
But the source states it's frequently made in Asia. And it's not just the label. It's about a real drop in quality sometimes. There's this striking comparison in the source. 60-year-old vintage Gucci frames, still flawless, with 2021 ones peeling after 3 wears.
Peeling after 3 wears. That says a lot.
It really does. It shows how the label can sometimes hide a pretty different reality in terms of, how well things are actually made now.
Okay, so after hearing all this, is there any hope? Is there a way back to something more authentic? Or is that romantic idea just gone?
Well, the source does propose a way forward. It's about going back to basics, in a way. Working with local artisans, the kind you can visit, touch, and talk to, where you can actually see a sewing machine with your own Italian eyes.
That direct connection, transparency.
Exactly. It's about transparency and connection. The source pulls this together in what it calls Gracie's Manifesto. It's a call for craftsmanship over cost-cutting, for integrity over Instagram.
Integrity over Instagram. I like that.
Yeah, and it urges brands to stop outsourcing your soul. It frames luxury as more than just a product. It says luxury is not just a product, it's a responsibility.
A responsibility. That feels important.
It's a strong argument for, getting back to core values.
So for you listening, the message from these sources seems pretty clear then. It's things like wear vintage, invest in timeless, buy less, but buy truth.
Yeah, maybe seek out those local artisans, like the example given. The 70-year-old woman sewing blazers in Prado.
Choose to wear stories, not slogans.
Yeah.
And just generally question what's really behind the labels you see. So wrapping up this deep dive, it's pretty clear there's this tension, isn't there, between the promise of made in Italy and the often uncomfortable reality our sources reveal. That ideal, made in Italy, should mean made with pride.
Absolutely. Which leads to a final thought for you, something to mull over, perhaps. What does made with pride actually mean to you when you're thinking about what you buy? What responsibility do these big brands have? And what about us as consumers? How much power do we have to, challenge or uphold the meaning of labels like made in Italy in this globalized world?
Good question.
Maybe the takeaway is, as the source suggests, wear less, wear better, and question everything.